Welcome to the C-Bin Podcast, a show where artists and musicians with an axe to grind throw things deep into the abyss of the C-Bin. Transphobia, racism, ableism, anti-Semitism, sexism, and homophobia, it all gets dumped on the trash! How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the motherfucking C-Bin Podcast. It's me, everyone's favourite, big, voluptuous, delicious daddy. It's Big Tasty, and I'm here with a guest who, the last time they were here, was part of one of the most chaotic episodes ever. It was in the back of the Rash van in the middle of Oldham. Fucking Jim Bob Taylor kept slamming the door. Someone was pissing right outside the van.
That was
People
Jim.
were just arguing over each other. Was that you pissing?
No, it was Jim pissing. He kept on.
Oh, Jim pissing.
He's got the size of a bladder.
rascal.
It's just like the size of his bladder must be like the size of a plum, man. It is the tiniest
It's like
little thing.
conker-sized.
Yeah.
But either way, now he's here just in person. It's you can see him ripping and rocking in the band Bruise Control. They got Niall here. How you doing, bud?
Hello, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, we were just having a little catch up because I was saying last time you were on it was a bit chaotic as fuck, but we had a little role play sesh.
Yeah, this is a much calmer environment. I'm on my sofa right now, surrounded by various bits of recording gear, so quite at home really, as opposed to last time, which was the back of that van outside of the gig.
Yeah, that was back of what was it? Was that when we had the tranny, or was that no? What do we have got? Yeah, it was in the back of the Rash van, and it was just it was a bit mad. And I think to me the most chaotic part of that whole interview was just Jim just constantly slamming the door as hard as fucking possible.
People were coming in and out. There was a lot of yelling going over. Poor you was there trying to balance all the mic levels on your iPad, trying to get it all recorded whilst we're just having like a full-blown argument for half an hour.
Yeah, there was a lot of just legitimate fucking yelling at each other. And, like your poor drummer talking about his fear of fucking
like gondolas, like what are they, like cable cars.
Yeah. And everyone just calling him a fucking wet pussy for ages.
Well, he talked about it. It was bizarre that was the thing that he chose to kick off so much about, because he was specifically referred to the ones in Alton Towers as the ones that he didn't like, but then was like still fine with all the roller coasters and stuff like that. And it's like, well, where's the logic there? Like, surely like the calmest of those two things is going to be like a nice ride on a cable car from one side of the park to the other, but being flung around on a roller coaster for 2 minutes isn't going to bother him for some reason.
Yeah, well, some fears are just irrational.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So what's going on with Bruise Control at the minute then? You got a new album coming out on TNS?
Yes, we do. It's going to come out sort of early next year. I'm not sure how much I should be saying, because I know there's like a proper like announcement plan and release plan. But it's going to be coming early next year.
I won't get you in trouble.
No,
I won't tell Andy.
Unless he listens to it. But I think early February is sort of what we're aiming for at the moment. I'm going to have some singles coming out. We've just been in oh, bless you. Got some singles coming out before it. We're in the middle of sort of like post-production, like getting it all mastered and stuff. Been doing the music videos. Ooh. So, a lot of content to come on the Bruise Control front. Plus, we've got a load of gigs coming up. We're playing Sunderland on Sunday. Sunday. But it's, down in Sunderland one. Is it down? Is it up? It's up in Sunderland. I don't know geography. Sunderland is up. And it's Bowl Fest on the Sunday. It's like a matinee, so I think sometime in Saturday afternoon. I mean, Sunday afternoon.
You'll be
Although, actually, to be fair, this podcast might go out after.
Probably after that.
Yeah. Well, in which case, that gig was great. It went really well. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was, fuck it. If you were there and you saw it happen, let us know. Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, you guys really missed out.
I was just thinking while you were talking there, about when I had Jim Bob on the show, maybe like almost 2 years ago at this point, because he was down visiting Falmouth, and I was talking to him about Bruise Control. This is when the band was still fairly young, and I was just like, oh man, it's like so exciting. You know, it's like reminds me of like when Incisions were like started being a band and were playing, and everyone was like, oh shit, like this is the real deal. And it's crazy how like prophetic. I guess it's not really prophetic because it was very clear that you guys were going to be doing really big things, but like how much the band has kind of been catapulted in that time. Like the shows you guys are playing and everything that's happening it's fucking fair play.
It's been sort of crazy. It's been really gratifying in a lot of ways, really, because I spent a lot of time doing a lot of music stuff and not really, you know, playing the kind of gigs I wanted to play or meeting the kind of people I wanted to meet, just because of I don't know, no particular reasons. But once I started getting in with Bruise Control, I mean, I joined Bruise Control right at the end of 2019, and then everybody knows what happened in 2020. So there was a big gap, basically, in activity for us, where we started off and we were doing, you know, constant practices, doing little recordings here and there, getting ready to do the first gig and ready to put the tape out, the first cassette we did. And then it all went to nothing for a little while because of all the lockdowns and stuff. And I thought at that point, like, oh, it's probably just sort of going like, you know, we'll see how long I'll see how long this goes, blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as like gigs were back on and we were able to do them, it was kind of crazy, like how well received it all was, and having those moments of sort of like going to gigs and people, you know, going pretty nuts for us and, you know, really like moving. So yeah, it's been really, really fun, and it's just been like, I just feel really lucky to have landed in this band, because I didn't know Jimmy or Tommy before I started being in the band with them. It was only through Devon, who was the previous guitarist, who used to work in the kitchen of the pub that I was a supervisor in. And like, I don't know how he heard that I play guitar. Well, I was doing other music stuff, so I guess it makes sense. But he just sort of like peeked his head around the corner and was like, do you play guitar? And I was like, yeah. And he just gave me a time and a place. And that was just like how I joined Bruise Control. Like, I didn't have any other contact other than that.
That's crazy. I think Bruise Control's success, apart from it just being like the music being really great and energy being great, is that it's like it's evidence of that if you give a lot of love and time into the scene, like it pays dividends, and they'll give that love back when you're ready to like produce something.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, with Tommy and Jimbo, like I know those guys, and I won't speak for you and stuff, but having like a history of like being a patron of the arts and like going to gigs and doing photos and always being around and knowing everybody, and then when it was time to finally throw that hat into the ring, it was like, cool, light the fuse, boom, off you go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been great being in a band with Tommy, because that guy is like been in, you know, fairly high level bands for like a lot of his life doing.
He's no slouch.
Yeah, no, he's a hard worker and he's really good on the kit. So having someone like that, you know, backing you up in the band is like, you know, it's just so easy to like get music made and like get the energy right and feel like you're bouncing off each other on stage. And like he knows people that can get us gigs. He knows all these little helpful stuff. It's just great. And obviously Jim as well, like that guy is just like a born front man. And like he was already like so well in the scene, like doing photos for people and going to these gigs, sort of like known for like his party animal tendencies. Photos of him pouring entire bottles of Buckfast on his head and all that. So him being the front man of the band was just like makes complete sense. As soon as you see it, you're just like, oh yeah, I don't know why this didn't happen sooner, you know?
Yeah. He's got charisma coming out as wazoo.
He does.
That's where it famously comes out of. While we're sucking on your ding dong, maybe it's time we started shitting on someone else's ding dong.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got a few opinions that I need to voice.
Well, buddy, you come to the right place to voice some opinions. So while we're rolling, let's get cracking with the proverbial knacking and get some C-bins on the bish bash bosh. What's the first thing you got for me, man?
The first thing that I have for the C-bin is Rocket. Not
Are you
rockets
talking
as
about
in...
like space rockets?
No, I'm not. No, not like... those rockets are fine. They can stay on dry land. They're cool.
Yeah.
I'm into NASA. But no, rocket the vegetable, the salad leaf rocket. I have never, ever liked it. Every time I have had it, I've thought this is grim. Every time I see it on a menu in a restaurant, I think, nah, no way, not ordering that. It could be like a perfect meal for me, and it says, oh, with rocket on the side. I'll be like, no, ruined.
So is it just the flavour that you don't like? Do you not like its fun little shape?
I don't mind the shape. The shape is quite charming, I suppose, in its own way. But, you know...
Yeah, it's far more interesting than like a piece of gem lettuce. Like, you know, it's got spiky bits.
It's definitely more interesting than iceberg, which is just like a...
It's the hammerhead shark of leaf.
Yeah, I get you there. But no, it's an invasive taste. It's this weird...
Invasive?
People describe it as peppery, which I guess I can kind of see. But like the main thing that Sorry.
I was going to say, well, it's part of the mustard family.
Is it?
I've got it here. I've got its thing up here.
Well, I don't like mustard either.
Diplotaxis tenofoliolea is a species of flowering plant in the mustard family, known by the common name of something wall rocket. It's native to Europe and West Asia. It grows on disturbed ground and road signs and can now be found throughout much of the temperate world where it naturalized.
Right. Well, I didn't know that it was part of the mustard family, but it makes sense because I don't like mustard either. Like, I'm talking like Dijon mustard. I like that American yellow stuff, but that tastes like
yellow shit.
That tastes like a pickle relish. It doesn't really taste of actual mustard. But like,
that's like saying that banana flavored milkshake is banana.
Yeah, it's
like
yellow, it's the same concept. Yeah, but no, the taste of rocket. The people say it's peppery. I guess I can kind of see that, but it mostly just tastes to me like you ate just like a leaf that you picked from a tree, and it's overpowering when you're eating like a sandwich or something, and you've got some like nice mozzarella and some sun dried tomatoes, and then rocket, and it's like here's the fucking rocket, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is too much.
It definitely makes a statement. It definitely makes a statement in a sandwich for sure. See, I don't mind the taste of rocket. In fact, it's one of the leaves that I would prefer to have on something. But what I will say is, I don't know if it's just me or maybe I'm just a fucking dickhead, but I find it to be quite fibrous. Like it's quite, it's not got a good mouthfeel.
It's denser. I feel like I want a salady ingredient in a meal to have like a nice crisp crunch, to be soft and light, because I've already got a lot of things. If, like, say in a sandwich, like we were saying, I've already got like the fillings and the bread, and that's a lot filling up your mouth already. So you want that salad to give that fresh sort of hit, and you're not getting that with rocket at all. You're getting this weird, just like earthy, like mush that just takes over your mouth, and it's all you can taste, or at least it's all I can taste. It's all I can think about when I'm eating something with rocket in. It's just like, oh god, here it is, uninvited, but still came to the party.
Yeah, fuck's sake. I'm just sort of going through the Google, like the frequently asked questions on Google about rocket, and one of them is, why is my rocket so bitter?
Because it's always bitter, because it's grim.
The arugula plant, which is what Americans call it, generates a bitter taste as a defense mechanism against leaf-loving pests, such as caterpillars, aphids, and even humans. The bitter taste is caused by a chemical called glucosinate, which is carried through the leaves and the system, similar to our veins. So maybe it just doesn't like you, and it considers you like an aphid, and it's like, better be minging.
Watch out, guys. Niall's here. You better taste awful so he doesn't eat you.
Pretty much, maybe, because I think the same thing with coriander, cilantro. Because people be like, especially Shannon Green eats like fucking coriander by the fucking bathtub full, and that shit just tastes like fairy liquid, you know. But everyone tells me it's good, but I can't be convinced. So maybe you've got, you know, maybe it does the same thing to me as it does to you.
Well,
but with rocket,
I spent a long time not being convinced by cilantro. What's it called? Coriander. I spent a long time not being convinced by coriander, and always thought it was just like, you know, the same things that I've been describing, just like an overpowering, flowery taste, herby.
Yeah.
And like one day I must have just had it in the right context on like the right piece of food, because they use it on a lot of like Indian stuff, don't they? A lot of sort of Western Asian cuisine. But it's
See, I can't
in the right place at the right time. I've had coriander and thought, oh, actually, I get it now. I get it.
See, I can't think of a right place and right time for coriander apart from on a fucking sponge when I'm doing my dishes. The thing just tastes fucking manufactured. To me, you know.
I see the soapy comparison. I do see the soapy comparison. There is something a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's like this weird, like, flat sweetness to it. And it's sort of like, I don't know. I feel like it's the kind of herb that people make a lot of sense after anyway. Like, you see stuff like, you know, like lavender and stuff like that. You know, you eat like, what are them Parma violets, those sweets that are supposed to be like lavender flavoured. And you eat them, and I like them, but like, I'm not thinking like, oh, this is a nice sweet. It's like, oh, it feels like I've put like a air freshener in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a Maya lemon. There's like a certain type of lemon called the Maya lemon, which is like what a lot of like lemon-scented soaps and cleaners are scented after.
Yeah.
So when you taste it, a lot of people's like, oh, that's just like, you know, like fucking degreaser. But I also, listeners screaming at me right now saying, it's genetic, it's genetic. I know it's genetic. I know the sort of soapy taste is genetic, much the same as like asparagus making people's piss stink.
Oh,
like
I've heard this. I've heard this, that like some like people are just like genetically predisposed to dislike coriander.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And the ones that are genetically, you know, gifted are called Tories.
I take great offence to that as a convert to Camp Coriander.
Camp Coriander, fuck off. No, it's all right. I'm just jealous, really. I'm just jealous because I can't enjoy things like wonderful bowls of ramen that Shannon makes because she's put about a fucking whole hedgerow's worth of coriander on the can.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to overpower, but I do like a little tickle every now and then, a little tickle of coriander.
Yeah, but see, some people might like a little tickle of rocket.
Maybe it's just me. It could easily just be me, but
goes really well with beef. I don't know if you're a vegan.
I'm not a vegan, and actually have a specific moment in my life that I think about when I think of rocket, and it's my dad. I was in uni. I went back to my parents' house for some food, and my dad had made sirloin steaks for me and my mum and him, like proper, like nicely grilled, like proper, everything done really, really well. And then he gets a plate out and he lays a bed of pesto down on the plate, lays the steak on top of that to rest. I think, oh, this is going to be great. He starts sprinkling some pine nuts, like crushed up pine nuts and stuff like that all over the steak. I think, oh, this is going so well. What does he do next? Reaches into the bag of rocket, takes above a handful. I didn't realise his hand was as large as it was because you couldn't see the food underneath it. It was just rocket, and I was like, oh, Dad, what have you done? It was just completely ruined for me.
And enough rocket that you'd have to cause a bit of a scene to remove it from the top.
Yeah,
like, it's not a simple scrape to the side. It's like an activity.
It's a removal. It's like bulldozing the dish to get to the foundations is what it was like.
Probably need like a side napkin to scoop it all up in a little bindle, like you're a little homeless person in the 1940s in Southern America.
Yeah, and then like I look fussy, and I don't want to be an inconvenience and look fussy. Like that's always something I'm like quite conscious of when I'm in social scenarios. So like sitting there and like the first thing I do is scrape off all the rocket. I'm like, I must apologize. I'm sorry, but you know, you've known me for over 20 years now. You should know that I don't like it. And I've made it very vocal at every meal we've ever had that I'm not eating it.
Yeah, you are not a rocket man.
No, I sound ungrateful. My dad's a very good cook. I
don't think you sound ungrateful. I just think you know what you like. I'm fussy too, man. I think if I was put in that same situation, even though I don't mind the taste of rocket, I probably would have shunted it to the side as well.
Yeah, it was a lot. I wouldn't say that I'm a fussy eater, though. Like, I can't really think of many foods that I like hold this sort of feeling towards. Like mustard, even mustard, I can, if there's a, you can tickle mustard the same way you can tickle coriander. But, so like, I don't really like mustard, but I'll put up with it. I just can't put up with rocket. And I'm trying to think of other foods that I really like, will avoid. And nothing comes to mind. Maybe prawns, but even then I'll eat a prawn. It's just rocket that I have this feverish hatred of.
Well, what I will say is, what I normally do on the show, when it comes to food, and I do this with bands and stuff too, artists people bring in, when it's like, it's very, it's a taste thing, some people love it, some people hate it. If I threw it in, people will be mad. If I didn't throw it in, people will be mad.
Yeah.
So I leave it up to fate. It's been a while, but I've got the Dark Slowbro of Fate here, so this is a nice Pokemon card.
Is that shiny?
I'll flip. It is, yeah. It's a holographic from Rocket set. This is an old vintage card. But
how much is that worth?
Now in a probably like £8, not very much.
That's pretty good.
But I've now gotten into putting it in a sleeve to protect its longevity because this has become a staple of the show.
All right.
But basically, Slowbro up, it goes in the bin. Pokeball up, it stays out the bin. We'll leave it up to fate, and we'll see how it goes. You ready?
Yeah.
It landed exactly standing up, so we're going to do that again.
Did it really? How did it do that?
It caught itself on my mic lead and got was right up there. It's landed Slowbro up. It's going in the bin.
Yes.
Rocket is going to go join fucking bananas and all kinds of other stuff in the sea bin.
Bananas? Is someone throwing bananas?
Yeah, bananas are in. Yeah.
What?
That was Tanya from Bismuth threw bananas in the sea bin, if I remember correctly.
A lot of sugar.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, good riddance. Hope to never see
it.
How do you
feel about that?
I feel great about it. So long.
You got one finger. You got the Mars bar.
Got the Mars bar. No more ruined salads. Thanks.
No. You know what? When you're talking about that steak and you talk about pine nuts can fuck off too. Worst part of pesto. Love pesto. Makes it gritty as.
Yeah, no, I'm a pine nut person. Also, my girlfriend Kira, my lovely girlfriend, is allergic to all nuts apart from pine nuts and hazelnuts. So I can sneak a few pine nuts into my diet, which is a little treat because I don't often get to eat many nut-based foods. One time I got a jar of peanut butter once because I wanted to make this specific sandwich, and I had to wash my hands, brush my teeth, clean all the utensils, clean the entire kitchen, take the jar of peanut butter, put it in a bag, put the bag in a box, and then put it back at the back of the fridge. Because,
wow.
If Kira's that kind of allergic, that if, she had any contact with it, it would be throat swollen, straight to A&E, bad
it's not
times.
worth the risk.
It wasn't worth the risk. It wasn't. But
what was the sandwich?
It was this crazy one. So there's this TikTok series called Roll for Sandwich, and it's one that he made, and it was peanut butter with pickled peppers, sriracha mayo, and loads of other stuff on a soft roll. And it sounds like it really, really wouldn't work, but he made it and was like, "Oh my god, this is a really, really good sandwich. You should try it."
I remember that episode. Yeah, I remember that episode.
Oh, have you seen it? Yeah.
Oh, everyone loves a bit of roll for sandwich.
Yeah, it's great, man.
All right, well, let's move on to something that's not great, according to you. Ricky Gervais, what's the deal? What's the beef?
I've got beef.
Right, here we go.
Gervais. I wish I could pinpoint it on one specific thing. I mean, he's not been particularly nice to some of our LGBT friends in the past. Yeah. He said some... Not advertently said fuck these people or anything like that, but he's, alluded in his comedy to having a very sour opinion of the trans community especially, which obviously, not the vibe, doesn't sit right with me. Already fuck this guy. But also there's this self-congratulatory, self-righteous crusade that he seems to be on, to be morally right about everything, even though the majority of the time he's morally wrong. He's one of those hardcore atheists that won't stop banging on about how Christians are stupid and stuff like that. He's obviously said all that stuff about the trans community, like that whole, like, you know, love Carl Pilkington, that guy, keep him as far away from the sea bin as possible. But
I love Carl Pilkington, he's my favourite.
But you got to agree, there are some points in that, in like the stuff that they've done together. Because I've watched the Ricky Gervais show.
Bullying.
It gets a bit far, doesn't it? It does get a bit far. It
does push a bit far, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I understand that, like, you're doing this stuff to make good telly, but there's, you know, that's your mate, supposedly. So,
yeah, and you can tell that for every 100,000 that Carl made, Ricky made 1 million.
Yeah, like, exactly. And like, he called it the Ricky Gervais show, even though 80% of the show was Carl like talking.
Yeah,
Ricky would just like laugh in the background. That fucking hyena laugh he does.
Yeah, which I will admit is contagious.
Yeah, it
His laugh is good.
And like, you know, I don't blame him for laughing at some of the stuff that Carl says, because obviously he's dead funny, and like, I really like Carl Pilkington and I love listening to him talk, but you know, you can't disagree that there are some points where you're just like, oh, come on, you're just looking for any angle to take the piss out of this guy now.
Yeah. I'm watching like, Idiot Abroad. I'm sure a lot of it was sort of stage, and he pretty had some knowledge of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time it was just like, just let him have something nice.
Yeah.
Let him have something nice.
You know, like, how much is the show benefiting from you pushing that little extra bit just to make his day more miserable, you know?
Yeah. Terrible. I think like there's some things I've like when he's hosted the Golden Globes and stuff, and ripped into Hollywood about, you know, being, you know, all the seedy stuff going on in the background. It's easy to kind of be like, well, maybe this guy is, you know, he's all right because he's unafraid to kind of go up there and kind of be like, hey, you know, you are all friends of pedos, and you all know all the secret seedy sexual harassment stuff in the background, and you're all profiting from it, so blah blah blah. But then it's like, also, that's you as well.
Yeah, you're like, also profiting off the same people. You do, like, he hasn't put two and two together.
You've also done
there.
Films and all that stuff, you know. I don't know. There's just, I know what you mean about there just being something about him that's just a bit.
Yeah,
just
not the vibe. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things that he's done. Like, I can't say that he's not made some like good TV. Like, I've already said that I like the podcast he did. Obviously, The Office is great. I'm never ever going to take that away from him, that he made that like piece of television, which is just like, you know, woof. That
Extras is just full of amazing quotes that fill my day-to-day life.
Yeah, no, Extras. I haven't seen too much of Extras, but you know, there are parts of it that I do enjoy. And I like Stephen Merchant as well. He played Wheatley in Portal 2.
Yeah, I think he. Who did he play? He played one of the X-Men in Logan.
Did he?
Was it? Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the X-Men.
I don't know.
Oh, it's going to bug me now. Hold on, I'm going to find it.
Okay.
I'm going to Google it.
As a sidebar, Stephen Merchant was also in Jojo Rabbit, if you've seen that.
I haven't, but I think he looks a lot like a Nazi. He's just got that face.
Aryan.
I knew it.
Have you got it?
He played Caliban, which is a mutant with no hair and stuff.
I couldn't tell you anything about any of the X-Men. Kira likes the X-Men, but she's not doing the podcast.
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't watched Afterlife, because a lot of people tell me to watch Afterlife, but it just looks far too depressing, and I'm too depressed as a human being to sit down and be more depressed. But the clips I have seen are ones that people have shared, and it's normally Ricky Gervais writing himself into a scenario where he gets to kind of verbally chop someone down who's below him and be intellectually superior.
Yeah, and like the body shaming and stuff, man. Like, there's so much of that. Like, it's crazy some of the ways that he uses to just like describe people he dislikes, that are like so much about like their body and the way they look. That's like that's a conscience I don't want to be dealing with.
Yeah, this one's a tricky one because I know of a few people that swear, like every time I tell them that I have a sort of an inherent disliking for Ricky Gervais, they're like, really, he's fucking great. That I know I might upset by doing this, but I feel like just going by the trash rule that's at the start of the episode, he has been embroiled in some transphobia.
Yeah,
and I think that just immediately nominates him for the bins, even without all the rest of the sort of shady career shenanigans and just basic blasé attitude to being a giant cunt.
Yeah.
So I feel like
it's the glorification of being a giant cunt, isn't it? That's what his character is in like Afterlife.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of Afterlife, and it's literally like, check out this guy doesn't care. He says what everybody's thinking, and it's like, no one's thinking that though. You're just miserable.
He has, sort of become that's his brand now, isn't it? It's just being the guy who's unafraid to be a prick.
Yeah,
I don't care whose feathers I ruffle. I'm the real deal.
Be offended, snowflake. You know what I mean? It's that kind of attitude. Trying not to be that kind of attitude just doesn't come off right.
I don't want to see. I'd like to see memes made out of it. A podcast with Ricky Gervais, Jordan Peterson, and Russell Brand all sort of talking over each other.
Yeah,
and
all of them like pretending that they don't have the same opinions, but kind of all having the same opinions.
Yeah,
maybe not Russell Brand so much. I haven't seen too much of him, so I'm not going to make a judgment call on what his beliefs are. But definitely Jordan Peterson and Ricky Gervais have some beliefs in common about what a person should be, which I don't vibe with.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone should vibe with.
Yeah, I agree. And he's going in the bin. Listen for the splash.
Yes.
In it goes. Bang. 2 for 2.
Latest
You got the
taters.
Twix. How do you feel about that?
Are we doing all this by chocolate bar?
Yeah. Well, there's you want to get the Kit Kat at the end.
That's all for.
When this podcast first started, it took a really long time for someone to get all 4 things in. Like it used to be a rare occurrence, but people have sort of found the formula now. I know how to twist my nips in a way that makes me get them all in. Even if I'm just leaving it up to fate, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, that was lucky.
So you got the Mars bar or the Snickers or whatever chocolate bar you want. You got the Twix. You got the Trio, because there is a chocolate bar called the Trio that has 3 things in it. And then you got the Kit Kat.
Well, isn't there an American chocolate bar called the Three Musketeers?
Yeah, but that's just I think that's just like a Mars bar rip-off.
Is it? I never had. I'd like to try one. I'm always quite intrigued by a lot of American foods. I went to Turkey a few weeks ago, which is a weird place to have American food. But I was in the airport on the way back, and they had an Arby's, and I was like, "What? Arby's?
Roast beef sandwiches all around."
Yeah, it was okay. It was kind of a lot.
Yeah, get their horsey sauce. It's just like horseradish in mayo. It's mad. But yeah, I'm going to quickly thank my Patreon supporters for this episode. So thank you to Aidan, Sean, Adam, James, Kate, Christiane, Froggy, Spoolbags, Tim, Alex Sniff, Jochen, CB, Fee and Peg, Rory, E.G., Jim, Mike, David, Will, Sarah, Matt, Ollie, Alex, Chris, Dale, Caroline, Dave, Will, and Cody. Thank you for supporting the episode this week. Also, thank you to Cold Press CBD. If you want some vegan CBD gummy bears, go to cold-press.io. Use code Simon10, all caps, for 10% off your first month's order of vegan CBD gummy bears. Really good independent company. They're lovely people, and they've been working with me for a while now, and everyone that's got them seems to quite enjoy them, so why don't you join them? Right, so I often do little silly middle sections where I ask salacious questions or do silly online quizzes, but I thought this time, because you like to control the amount of bruises that are happening with your band.
Yeah.
I thought let's have complete control over the bruises and see which animals you think you could take in a fight. Okay,
this is a classic. This is a lot of the kind of questions we ask each other in work when we've got nothing on. Usually it's comparing yourself to what kind of biscuit you'd be. But no, I like these kind of questions.
So I found an actual like tier list on Tier List Maker. So there's a few different kind of things that we could throw these in the category. I'm not going to do the whole tier list. It's mad. It's huge. But the first one would be like, you paint the walls with their blood. Like you just easily fucking take them.
Yeah.
The one underneath it is that you'd get a few hits in. They'd get a few hits in, but you'd win in the end. The one underneath that is that it would be a bit of a close one.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be like a 50-50 chance win or loss. It would be close, but you would lose. You would get a few hits in, but you would lose.
Right, yeah.
You'd get torn to fucking shreds.
Yeah.
Or you'd be too scared to even attempt to fight. So this
is
is
that
kind
an
of
option?
like
People usually say
that's an option.
Okay, that's.
I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to force you, man. But if you want to be a fucking wimp, then you go right ahead.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. First up, we've got a lobster.
Lobster. Painting the walls, man. 1 foot, it's gone.
Yeah.
1 foot with a hard stomp. Sorry to any vegetarians or vegans listening, but there's going to be a lot of animal maiming in the next few.
Animal cruelty.
A lot of animal cruelty going on in the next little conversation here.
Right, a sheep. You think you could fight a sheep?
Oh. That's interesting.
That's a tricky one because they got hard heads and they're quite aggressive anyway, and they will butt you.
Sheep's. Am I right in saying that a ram is the male and a sheep is the female?
I think so. If you want to be put it on the binary,
because the sheep then don't have horns, which is a big danger part. Do they have horns?
Yeah.
Maybe they just have really small horns.
No. I think just a regular sheepy is hornless, but still has a hard head. You're still going to get like juggernauted.
Is it in this scenario? Is it aggressive? Is it coming for me as much as I'm going for it?
Yeah, I think it knows the stipulations to the fight.
Okay, it's life or death here.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
I had
it wants your blood to stain its wool.
Right. So if we're matching rage and ferocity, I'm going to say that I would win against a sheep, but I think it would take me a really long time to like wear it down and like,
right.
Because I think it would spend a lot of time chasing me around. I think anything I do try to like hurt it is just gonna bounce right off it. I mean, it's got a lot of like fluff surrounding it. I'm assuming this is an unshaved sheep, isn't it?
Yeah, this is got one in full fruiting.
Yeah, may as well be wearing Kevlar with the amount of wool it's got on it.
Exactly. It's like trying to fight. It's like trying to fight a roadman wearing fucking 5 North Face jackets.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's like fighting the Michelin Man.
Yes. Yeah. But I think eventually you'd hit a nerve.
I don't think it'd be able to do much to me. Is my main thing. It could get a few chomps in. It could trample me a little bit, but as long as I stay a bit spry and sort of maneuver my way around it, I think I'd sort of wear it down to the point that it was sort of like pretty motionless, and then it would just be like a horrible slow punching it until it eventually stops breathing. Horrible. Oh my god.
I didn't expect you to go into so much detail of your tactics.
Well, that's
I love
the thing.
it.
Like, these are serious considerations.
I was going to say, I think you're ignoring the fact that it's the perfect height to be in headbutt area of your genitalia.
Well, yeah. What's
there.
my situation here? Am I wearing the clothes I'm wearing now? Because I'm just in like, t-shirt and some joggers.
Yeah. You just wear what you want.
Yeah. Maybe I should have started the podcast with a codpiece on.
In a suit of armor or something.
Yeah.
So, right. Next up, do you think you could fight a bald eagle?
Oh no.
Because they got the high ground.
It's over, Anakin.
Yeah, you were the chosen one.
I don't think I would win.
They got talons. They got beaks.
They got talons. They got beaks. They got the height advantage. They could peck.
Yeah,
I'd be really freaked out if a bald eagle started attacking me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have like the mental fortitude to like fight back. And then what would I do? I'd have to like, it'd be pretty lucky to like grab it. And even then, they're pretty big. Aren't they the biggest?
They're pretty big. Yeah, they got
the
a
biggest
giant,
bird
big
of
old
prey, at
wingspan.
least. Yeah.
I think a vulture. I know they're not really birds of prey. They're more like scavengers. But I think people underestimate how hench a vulture is.
Yeah, man. That's scary.
Yeah.
Bald eagles, still not a great time.
I feel like if it swooped down enough and you had the wherewithal to snatch it out of the air, like you're trying to catch like a shopping bag that's blown out of your pocket in the wind, and you don't want to litter. If you had about like the Mr. Miyagi reflexes to grab it by its ruffled neck, I think you could probably shake it like a fucking chicken. But I think you'd have to get lucky.
Yeah, no, there'd be a lot of luck involved, and I think in the attempts it would take me to grab it, because surely if it's trying to get me, its maneuvers are pecking and clawing. So they're going to have to come down to grab me.
Shall we put it in? You'd get a few hits in, but ultimately you'd lose.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that category.
I think that's the fairest of.
Because once it's got one of my eyeballs, it's game over. I think I'd just give up then.
Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. Right, where are we next? Let's see. A dolphin. What about a dolphin?
Oh, no. A dolphin. Big mouth on a dolphin, a lot of chomping going on.
They have got a lot of chompage.
Serrated teeth. I'm dead, man. I'm not surviving against a dolphin. Am I in the water, or is it on land?
I think you're in like waist deep water.
Yeah.
So you're kind of half in, half out.
No, I think that's it, man. I think that's the end of me.
Would you try to fight it, or would you just let it tear you to shreds?
Oh, there's an opt out, isn't there? I'd be too. I'd be too scared to fight a dolphin. I know that's a weird animal to be too scared to fight off, but if you think about it, you're not going to last long in waist deep water. It grabs my leg, pulls me under. All it has to do is drag me about for a bit. I'm gone.
Yeah, it's true. Let's see here. Right. How do you think you'd do fighting a zebra?
Poorly. I think I'd win, though.
Yeah.
Again, it's the trample zone that's the problem.
Yeah, but one fucking punch to the face.
Yeah, once it's down on the floor,
just jump on it and JoJo cat.
Yeah, I'll just do some stomping, man.
Put it in like the Chimera lock or something.
Half Nelson. Bend his little legs behind him. Horrible.
So what, you think kind of the same as a sheep? Like it'd be close, but you'd eventually win?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it'd be the same sort of scenario. Hopefully I'm not fighting the sheep and the zebra on the same day, though. Otherwise that might end up...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you just fought the sheep, you're fucking knackered, and all of a sudden you hear the boss music hits again.
Just galloping in the distance.
Just...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Because it's made by Hollywood, you hear like the sound of African drums as well over the galloping. Like,
oh, yeah, well...
Dum, like just to get you in the mood, because, you need to get fought. Right, let's think of something that you probably take. Something that's not, let's do an unfair fight. Do you think you could take an otter?
Yep.
How sort of readily? Do you think you'd get a bite in, or?
You'd get a bite in. Are they fast otters? Otters are faster. They are, otters semi-aquatic. What's the battle arena?
Pond. Yeah.
Nah, I think once I grab it, there'd be a lot of ringing going on. Yeah,
they've also got weapons, though. They got that stone they keep.
Oh, yeah. It could throw stones at me. That would be endearing. I think I'd be like, it's just like people. And then I would squash its brains out.
And then it'd be like, my turn. Pick up a fucking chair.
Yeah. Pick out a fucking gun. Here's my tool.
We'll do a few more. Do you think you could take a parrot?
Yeah.
I think you could as well.
Thanks,
They
man.
are vicious.
They can be
peck
mean.
you, but yeah. Orangutan?
Nope, dead. Instantly dead.
You're fucked, mate.
Orangutan.
You are so fucked.
Are you joking? An orangutan? That would be great.
Did you try?
No, not a chance. Wouldn't even open the door.
I think the orangutan would probably take. Do you think who would have been in the fight between the orangutan and the dolphin?
Oh, 50-50. I'm calling that.
Yeah.
Orangutans are surely shorter than us.
Yeah, I think they're about nipple height, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if the water's the same level, it's fairly, it's
but
wading.
all they got to do, they just got to grab it by the nose, and they could probably lift it up and swing it like a fucking toy lightsaber.
Are they that strong? They are pretty strong.
Yeah. So you're not even going to try to fight?
No, not a chance. Sorry.
All right, we'll do two more. A deer. Not like a fawn, like a deer.
Yeah, antlers.
Yeah. That's what you'd hear.
Is that a deer sound? It's like I'm at Eaton Park.
Yeah.
I am going to say 50-50 because I think it would be about timing. If I could dodge the antler attacks, I'd be all right. And I could sort of get in and get some... Oh, no, thinking about it again. I don't know. I think I would put up a fight, but I think I'd be gone. I can't see myself, trying to push a deer over. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a solid mass.
I think if you sit there kind of ready for it to kind of charge at you and then kind of jump on it like Legolas when he jumps on a horse. You've seen Lord of the Rings? You know, when the horse is riding and Legolas just kind of springs.
You're giving me a lot of credit, though. Because
I think you could be as fleet-footed as Legolas.
Need to grow my hair out again.
Just jump around. Use his neck like a lap dancing pole. Swing on his back and then slam his head into the ground.
Well, once you're on the back, you could probably try and pull the antlers off because I reckon they come off quite easy because they fall off.
Yeah,
they're like trees. They
they fall off during shedding season, don't they? Yeah, just
like trees, apparently, according to me.
Yeah.
I think. Well, the thing is, disable the antlers. That's half the battle.
Yeah,
and then it's just
fast
though, very fast. Is this a limited arena we're in? Is this like a ring?
Yeah, it's like a gladiator coliseum.
I think this would take me a long time, but no, I'm going to call it 50-50. 50-50 still.
50-50. Right, last one, a seal.
I'd fuck up a seal.
You think?
Yeah. A seal.
Because they're big and they're aggressive as well. They're like, some of them are like people-sized.
They are. But I reckon I could fuck up a person as well as the thing. The right person. I don't think I could fuck up most people.
Yeah. I'd say that the arena for this one is some rock pools.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was picturing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I would take the seal, but I think it would, again, be a slog. I don't see what the seal's going to do to attack me unless I'm submerged in water. So as long as I stay on the rocks...
slam you. He's got flippers to slap you with.
Yeah, but that's not lethal, is it?
No, but it'd sting. It'd be like being chopped by Ric Flair.
It would stun me for a bit. But I got a set of keys in my pocket. I just got to stick them between my fingers.
Oh, man, you're going to Wolverine a fucking seal with...
Rip its blubber open.
With the car keys.
Yeah.
He's just saying nah.
And I'm there going, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I think anyone who's got any plans on attacking you now has a very good idea of your
I'd like to preface that I'm not hard. I'm not a big guy. And any sort of physical combat that I've ever been in has not gone well.
But you're vicious, like a wombat.
Yeah, I think I would. I don't know. Maybe something would just like click in the back of my head and I just like spin into a rage with some of these animals.
Go in a fight or flight.
Yeah, like pure adrenaline. Like people do like crazy stuff on pure adrenaline, don't they?
Yeah.
Just like having that
Your eyes just glaze over.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the mums that lift cars off their kids.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
That'll be you, but you're tearing a seal's head off.
Yeah. Fuck this seal.
And holding it up like it's an infidel. Just like,
yeah. Spine still in. Horrible.
Oh, yeah, they're just dangling there like it's
Mortal Kombat.
Like it's in Mortal Kombat. Yeah. What would you do if you were beating up a seal and all of a sudden it started singing Kiss from a Rose and you realised you were hallucinating and you were actually fighting the singer-songwriter seal the whole time?
And in his, days...
In a blind rage,
in a blind rage,
yeah. Fighting her.
And then in his days of being beaten half to death by me and a set of car keys... His only thing to try and convince me that he is actually a person is to sing Kiss from a Rose.
He starts thinking, well, his time is drawing near. The only chance he has left is, maybe music will soothe the rabid beast.
Yeah.
So, man, there's so much a man can tell you, so much. And then all of a sudden your eyes just like clear and you see clarity. And
yeah, like in Madagascar.
Would you continue the barrage? Yeah, like in Madagascar.
Yeah, I only watched that recently the other day. No,
would you continue the physical barrage, or
I'd let singer-songwriter Seal live because I think enough people like him.
Do you think you'd let him on a Bruise Control track as well?
That would be great. Kiss from a Bruise.
What collaboration? Kiss from a Bruise.
Look at that.
And he probably would be pretty bruised up as well. He'd come on stage looking like he's been razzled because he'd just been in a fight with him.
Yeah, I thought he was a real seal.
He's got key puncture wounds in his face.
He's just bleeding out on stage.
Yeah, he's barely singing. Like he's just barely singing through broken teeth and holes in his cheeks.
It's so wheezy because of punctured his lung.
Yeah, what did you do that for?
Sorry, thought you were a seal. I am a seal. I'm the seal.
Yeah, I am the only seal. The artist formerly known as Seal. Well, I'm glad I'm glad we can have this conversation. And on that note, I think we should go into the next bin.
Yeah, I feel like I really got something out of me there. That was good.
Yeah.
Next bin.
So, what's next up on the list?
What is next on the list? I've forgotten.
Bad customers.
Bad customers. Sick of them, man.
This harks back to our old bit of role play we did last time, where we were talking about the small talk between customers.
That was my original item for the bin. I believe it got in, didn't it?
Yeah, it went in,
yeah. But that was more of a broad term, because small talk in general, I don't like just sitting and talking to people about nothing. This is a conversation, you know what I mean? We're talking about what animals we could fuck up. That's I've got my brain working there. Acknowledging that it's sunny outside is not like doing anything for me.
It's not intellectually stimulating.
Yeah. So, bad customers, this is more specific because, as you know, I've worked in the service industry since I left uni pretty much. And there are a lot of little nuances of things that people do that are really getting my goat more and more as time goes on. And it's like, God, it makes me conscious to be a better customer when I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, it's the only positive from it.
That's the thing, is that I know what's annoying now.
It's like a bad parent. Like when you grow up and you have shit parents, it sort of teaches you how not to be a parent if you eventually do have a kid. But now spread that across a career in retail. You have a bad customer. It teaches you to kind of not get grumpy if someone fucks something up. Yeah,
like there's a lot of putting up you have to do in the service industry.
Yeah,
because people can be rude, and then when they're not being directly rude, they're not realizing that what they're doing is like really annoying and like wasting your time and making the job harder for you. And then it could be something like, say someone's ordering something off a menu and they say like, oh, I'll have the chicken bao buns or whatever. And then order the food gets made in the kitchen. I bring the food over to the table. I say the chicken bao buns, because there's a group of them, so they don't know who's the food is for who. But there's only one person that's ordered the chicken bao buns, and I say chicken bao buns, and they go. And then I say chicken bao buns, and they go. And then I say the hoisin chicken bao buns, with shredded cucumber and pickles. Oh, is that mine? Yes, it's yours. I'm looking at you. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of thing. That small, like, the kind of interaction that if this was somebody you knew, you wouldn't have this. But it's because it's like I'm a foreign person to you, basically. You don't know who I am, and I'm coming up to you and I'm saying something like that. Your brain goes into a different mode, if you know what I mean, and that can be really frustrating. So you just got to be a little bit on your toes whilst you're a customer somewhere, because as much as like we are being paid to do a service for you, we are still people, and we still like
have to work as a team here.
We've got to work as a team. Like, you've paid for the food, I'm bringing you the food, or you've paid for the coffee, I'm making you the coffee. You know, there is two people involved in this, and I understand you've paid for something, so, you know, maybe you don't feel you feel entitled to, you know, everybody sort of, you know, doing everything for your demands and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm not getting that money from that coffee. If you order oat flat white, I'm not making any money off that. I'm being paid for my time there. So it doesn't. You haven't given me the money.
People say, "I'm paying your wages." I'm paying your wages.
No, you're not.
You're not. My boss is.
No,
my boss
you're
is paying
absolutely
my
not paying my wages.
Yeah. I get that a lot. In the job that I'm currently in, I'm not going to be in much longer. I just handed my notice in literally the other day. You'd be. I'd be like, there'd be like a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament or something happening, and I would bring someone will order there's like 50 people in the shop, and they all look like the same. They're all sweaty, hairy guys wearing anime t-shirts. And I carry down a plate that's got a burger and curly fries and a milkshake, and I'm just like, cheese and bacon burger with curly fries and a chocolate and milkshake.
Sometimes you can't be more descriptive with it, and it's like
no one says anything. And I go to a table and I'm like, chocolate, and I hear from around the corner, "Oh, that's mine." I'm like, well, where the fuck were you when I just asked who the fuck this was? Just like, do you expect me to remember which obscure anime shirt you're wearing?
Oh, sorry,
like,
we moved tables, actually. We're on table 6 now instead of table 5. Well, thanks for letting us know. Cheers for that.
Yeah.
You know, I've also served like 100 other people since you've ordered your food, and I don't remember everybody's faces and exactly what they ordered, because I'm a human, man. Yeah. This isn't like self-service Mackies.
Yeah. One thing that really grits my shit is when someone's ordering at the till and they start getting ahead of themselves. So like in our till system, it's like you order a burger, then I got to be like, okay, choose salad, yes or no. Bacon, cheese, yes or no? Sauces, yes or no?
Yeah.
Which fries do you want? I have to ask all these questions to get where I want, and they'll be like, "Yes, I want a bacon cheeseburger with ketchup and curly fries, and I also want a hot dog and a plate of cheese nachos and a quesadilla."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hold on,
just hold
salad on
on
the burger," and they're like,
second.
"Oh, whatever, as it comes." I'm like, "As it comes? What do you want? I've got options here, motherfucker. I need to know the options, because if I bring you a burger that's got fucking salad on it, and I see you scrape the salad to the side, then that's just a waste of salad, you ding-dong. Tell me if you want it, you fucking prick tits.
Yeah, that's, you know, you couldn't have summed my feelings up better, but inversely, there's another side to that, where someone goes through the order too slowly, and you've got 5 people behind them, and they say, "Hey, can I get the Carol's chicken burger, please?" "Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be, you know, $5.85, please." "Oh, can I also get another portion of chips with that? Is that like a meal deal?" And you're like, "Well, it was, but then you farted around for like way too long, and then I've moved on, and you know, obviously, like the tone of the transaction has changed." And then like they go back, and then like you say, "Anything else?" And then they go, "Yep," and then just a pint of Guinness. "Okay, anything else?" "Yep, can I also get?" And it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this list with you. Like, you know how to talk to people. You know what people sound like when they speak to you, and like what tone to use and how fast you should go. It's only because I'm behind this till that you think that like this is going to be different from any other conversation you've ever had in your life.
There's this is like very particular to a certain group of customers who come into the store. I'm not going to name names. I don't know if they listen to this or not, but I probably shouldn't mention this. But I'm not going to be there anymore, so I don't care. But they come up to the till, and they've all decided that to try and stem the awkwardness of that is ordering food, that they all talk in a really quiet and like sort of mixed, ambiguous Eastern European accent to try and be funny. So they'll be like, "Hello, yes, I'd like to order a cup of tea, please. And can I please have?" And I'm just like, "What the fuck do you want? Because I've got 10 people here, and I know like you're trying to be silly, but also, please, my brother in Christ, what the fuck do you want?"
Yeah.
And I know that they don't mean it, but I've had to be like, "Hey, I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you just be clear with me, please? Because I'm about to fucking rip my eyelashes out and stick them in my fucking dick hole."
Yeah, and so you know for a fact then that these people don't talk in anywhere like that way.
Yeah.
When they're not ordering at the till. It's just a bit that they do.
I'll have full conversations with them literally 5 minutes later, and it's fine. So it's like, why are you awkward now when you're asking me to do something for you? But the thing is, it's my job to do that for you. So don't be awkward by asking me to do something, because that's the whole relationship here. I'm not your friend. I'll be friendly with you, but I'm not your friend. I'm not going to accept your friend request on Facebook no matter how many times you send me one. I'm here to serve you milkshakes and energy drinks and make sure that you don't steal anything. And that's where it cuts off here, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg, though, really, isn't it? Of like stuff that goes on that just is just so frustrating. Like, as soon as you see like a family come in with like a few kids or anything like that, you're just like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be clearing up that table for half an hour." Ketchup, sugar packets opened, stuff smeared all over, like all the little drawing stuff, like the colouring in things ripped up and just put all over the place. Parents have just like obviously got enough on their plates that they're just not, clearing up after their kids because they need to get back to the dance school that they're going to drop them off at after they've had their morning coffee. And it's like, God,
yeah.
I just know that there's going to be a nightmare to look after these people.
My current / former employment, as and when this comes out, is a gaming shop. So what we get, similar to that, is parents will drop their kids off, leave them on a table, buy them all a Coke each, and then basically go shopping.
Oh, no.
And they'll just leave them there for like 2 hours, and we just have to keep going by and being like, "Everything okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, Mum will be back in a bit." And then I'll be like, "Can I get you anything?" Like, "Oh, I got my Coke." It's like, this isn't a fucking a date. Like, we're not a fucking kindergarten. You know what I mean? But then it becomes my responsibility, because if fucking Jimmy Savile walks into the shop and picks his kid up by his collar and runs out, like, that's now my fault.
Yeah, or if like the kid, like, I don't know, stands on a chair or something like that, or falls over and hurt themselves. What are you like? What are we expected to do about it?
Yeah, I ain't catching him. Fuck's sake. Yeah. My back's bad enough as it is. I don't need to fucking strain it by catching some fucking toddler.
I've had some strange interactions with, like, kids and stuff coming into the shop recently. Because where I work, half of it is like a food hall, and we do coffee and we do beers, and there's, like, food vendors and stuff like that. And then on the other half is, like, a retail shop, where it's just, like a little corner shop sort of vibe, a few aisles, a few different, like, grocery things that you might need. And quite commonly, there'll be a kid that comes in that, the mum lives around the corner. They said, "Oh, can you just nip to the shop, get us some, like, pasta shells for dinner tonight?" And the kid will be like, yeah, do it. And then, not that long ago, 2 kids walk in and they buy themselves some sweets. Well, they don't buy it, but they bring the sweets up to the till. And, I'm assuming the kid's just got, like, a tenner or something. I scan the stuff and I say, "Oh, it's, £3.80, whatever." The kid pulls out a card, like a card. And I was just like, "Oh, okay, well, the mum, I suppose it's consoleless. The mum's just given them the card." Stood on the tiptoes, scans the card, doesn't work, it's been declined. Remember, there's 2 kids. The second one is significantly younger, maybe about 3 or 4 years, than the one who had the card. The kid turns to the younger kid and says, "Have you got your card?" And I was like, "Sorry? Have you got your own card? What's going on there?"
Fuck?
And it turns out, like, I talked to a few co-workers about this, that a lot of parents now are just opening up, like, a type of bank account for their kid, which is, like, they just transfer, like, "Oh, go to the shops, I'll put £10 on your card," or something like that. And apparently that's a thing now.
That's mental. That's mental.
That's nuts, man. Just give them a tenner.
I hate my distrust for the world. As soon as you said that they're getting cards for their kids, I was like, they're blatantly doing that so they can have multiple credit cards with loans on them.
That is
That's
cynical.
their way of getting around it. Like, my credit score's fine. It's fucking Timmy who's got all the debt. Guy won't stop fucking gambling. He's been down fucking Betfred the last fucking 5 hours.
Yeah, blimey. So I think we're in agreement here.
I think so, yeah. Bad customers, going in the sea bin, listen for the splash, in it goes. We've got the trio, the three musketeers, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Right, let's crack through this last one here.
Yes.
And get her done. Right, so you got gear snobs. Now, we've had various sort of variations of this topic brought up in the past. But what's your beef?
Yeah. The main part of my beef stems from the fact that, like, if you don't have as good of a gear as somebody else, the first thing they're going to start saying to you is, oh, you're wasting your time. Oh, you can't be using that sort of stuff. Like, I had it when I posted on Reddit for some reason. I thought that was a good idea. I went on Reddit and I posted about, I had a question about, like, because I was getting a new cab because I'd bought a new head for my guitar. I was getting a new speaker cabinet. And I posted a question about, like, oh, well, there's 100 watts output and then there's, like, 100 watts RMS. What's the difference? Like, what do I need? And the comments on that were just so condescending. And it's like, I don't know. Like, This is obviously, like, I say it and it's like, hey, this is my first time. I've always used combos, so I've never needed to know this kind of stuff. But I need to match my head to the right cab. What do I need? And they were all just like, oh, obviously the RMS is what is actually recommended, blah, 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 blah. And it's like this talk down tone of like, I understand it, so why don't you? And that comes hand in hand with a lot of gear snobbery where it's like, oh, well, with this thing, which is optimized at 150 watts rated per second, that kind of sort of thing. And it's like, guys, you're not actually doing anything differently. You're just matching numbers to the right numbers. And you think that like gives you the absolute knowledge of the universe and all the right in the world to shit on me and what I have. No, obviously I need help and I don't need someone to speak down to me. I need them to help me and be supportive and say, oh, this is what I thought when I was doing this, but now I know this and this is better because of this. And it's not, they're not explaining anything. They're just saying, no, that's wrong. And that's like that kind of snobbery. And every single time that I've had any sort of like question about gear, especially like when I was a teenager and getting first into this kind of stuff, just the immediate condescension from everybody just immediately bugged me.
It's a feedback loop as well, because I think a lot of this snobbery comes from those people probably asked for advice on the same topics, were given the same attitude, so they all sort of just went to the same YouTube videos and taught themselves the same information, and now they're the gatekeepers of the knowledge, and they feel like, well, no one helped me, so why should I help them? Yeah. So it's a constant, never-ending vicious cycle of shit attitudes.
Yeah, that needs to change, as well as like
massively.
You know, just because your guitar is more expensive than mine doesn't mean that it's actually any better, or that you're actually any better at guitar than me. Yeah.
So you see it often where there'll be, you know, like a pub punk band or something playing, and you know they're all in their sort of 50s and they're playing their songs they enjoyed from the 1970s, and they'll all be playing like, you know, Gibson Les Paul customs through like Marshall Silver Jubilees, like, you know, like 10 grand's worth of musical equipment, but you know they're playing as pish, but it's because it's like, you know, they can afford it. It's like, it doesn't matter what gear you have, it's all about what you're fucking laying into the strings.
Yeah, I mean,
you get Eddie Van Halen, you give him a Squire Bullet from Argos and it will sound like Eddie Van Halen. It's not about, you know,
exactly,
you know,
100%. And like, I've noticed that there's a certain correlation with people who are like really into collecting gear and them not actually being any good.
Yeah,
I've totally
a lot of them
noticed
let the gear speak for them.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, I actually went to my local vintage antique auction and I picked up this Epiphone Coronet from 1960, and it's like, Yeah, but are you actually going to play it? Are you going to make any songs with it? Are you going to record anything with it? Are you going to play any gigs to it? No, it's just going to sit in my house and eventually, I'll change the strings every couple of weeks. It's like, God.
Yeah.
It's not the attitude
and also, I'm
to
going to
have.
say, like, no hate to bedroom players, hobby players. That's
Oh,
all
of
great.
course not.
It's
No.
just normally that they don't have the same courtesy directed at people like us. I have nice equipment now, but it took me over 10 years to get to the point where I felt like I could invest in myself to buy, amplifiers that were expensive or a guitar that was expensive. I was, using dog end gear that I could afford and making it work until I was at the point where I could invest in myself to get professional equipment. And that's the way it goes normally,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I have in terms of gear is pretty much nearly out of necessity. Like, the only reason that I upgraded to like a head and a cab is because I joined a louder band. So I was like, I need a louder equipment. And then the only reason that I had to get like another guitar is like, because I can't do like all this heavy music on just like a little Squier Stratocaster with single chords. I need something beefier. Blah, 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 blah. So like, it's only out of like having a need for me to upgrade my equipment that any of my equipment's been upgraded. So I think maybe that adds my bitterness towards people trying to, outdo me with their gear every now and then.
Yeah, it's mad. And I will say also, it's wild to hear because every time this topic has been brought up on the C-Bin, which it has a few times, it's always been from women musicians because they get a lot of it from dudes telling them or assuming that they don't know their gear. So they get snobbed out by people being like, do you know how... Speaking of Tanya from Bismuth, actually, when we talk about the bananas, she would get a lot of guys being like, do you know how your amp works? And she's like, actually, Matamp custom built it for me under my specifications. I know how this amp works because I designed it. And it's like, fucking... And they're like, well, you can't do it like that. It's actually preferred that you do it like that. It's like, mate, I designed this head.
Yeah, no. I mean, if they're like, just because there's a preferred way to do something doesn't mean that you have to do it that way, one. And two, what a horrible attitude to take with someone of just taking one look at them and being like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like I said, it's wild to hear the same kind of thing come out of like someone that looks like your mouth, because normally it's the other way around.
Yeah, well,
but it is a universal thing, It
is a universal thing, and a lot of it would come from the fact that, like, I'm not a high earner or anything like that. I can't afford to like spend a load of money on a new amplifier or like a new guitar or anything like that. I bought a new guitar recently. I had to do that pay in 3 thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so having people come up and be like, oh no, well, you don't want that, you want this, and it's like, oh right, how much does that cost? 5 times what I've got. Great, thanks for the help.
There's always I've spoken about this before on the shows. To me, there's always a law of diminishing returns when it comes to guitars and their like price range. Like, I think once you start getting to guitars that are like £800, like, you're not really going to find anything that's better than that.
No, it's all the same parts.
Even like in like 150, 2 grand, 3 grand, 5 grand, it's all going to have the same spec. It's all going to have stainless steel frets and the high end pickups and spalted maple and all that. It's all going to have the same high end specs. It's just like, do you want to have like a deluxe chrome special edition art custom shop version with a logo on it? It's all like having like Nike shoes and Louis Vuitton bags. It's like a Rolex. Like Gibson Les Paul Customs are like having a Rolex. It's like it still tells exactly the same time as a watch from Primark will, but it just says Rolex on it.
Yes.
It doesn't tell the time any better or accurately than any other watch would. It's just that it's a luxury item.
Yeah, people look at it and say, ooh, that must be a good watch.
Yeah, or they must be really, really good at playing because they've got a really expensive guitar. Just means they save their money up.
No. They just had money to spend on a guitar. That's the difference.
Yeah, and it's like if you work a minimum wage job as a kid, you could probably save up and get yourself like a sort of higher end Squier, like a Baja series Squier, or like a nice new Epiphone, and have a guitar that's really, at the end of the day, got the same quality as all those Gibsons. It just has a different fucking logo on it.
Yeah, exactly. I'd share a lot of the same sentiments as you. Yeah. Oh no, it must be.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I mean, I have it sometimes. You see a Squire guitar, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm sure that'd be all right. And then you see a Fender, and you go, ooh, that's a Fender. Like it's still there in the back of my head, but like
Yeah, and sometimes the branding is better. Sometimes a Heinz ketchup is better than a Asda fucking bog standard ketchup. It's sometimes, well, in opinion,
Yeah.
But
just as a quick side note, I've just noticed my phone is on 1%.
Okay, well, what we'll do is I'm going to throw it in the bin.
Excellent news.
I'm going to throw that in the bin, and we're going to end it there very sharply. Everyone go check out the new Bruise Control album that's going to come out at the start of next year.
Yes, please do.
Go check out all the stuff they got coming out. Niall, it's been a fucking honour to have you on.
It's been so much fun, man. Let us know if you ever need it doing again. I'm sure I can find more things to complain about.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for coming on, Niall, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Hey guys, it's me, Big Tasty. I just wanted to say cheers for listening to this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed making it. Now, if you feel so inclined, you should come check out my Patreon page. You can sign up for as little as £1 a month, and you get weekly exclusive video tier lists and monthly mail-outs with things such as stickers and fabric patches, zines and art prints. Hey, and if you can't spare the money right now, I totally understand. No pressure. I'm going to keep making episodes regardless, but if you can support financially, it really helps the show. Just keep moving on. And then another way you can help is just to follow us on stuff like Twitter and Instagram at Seaburn Podcast and share it around to people that you think might like this filthy shit. Anyway, love you guys, appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.